again?
Yeah, I mean, there's been conversations back and forth, but for the most part, for me, as y'all know, I'm gonna let my agent do that, especially as we get right here into training camp. Day one of training camp, my mind flips to just obviously helping my team and just doing everything I can within the organization and on the football field to make sure that I'm my best and everyone around me is their best, and the money and all that will take care of itself as it always has.
Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have a legitimate update on Dak Prescott's contract negotiations with the Dallas Cowboys. And if you're a fan of Dak Prescott, then what you heard in that preceding clip should have given you some ease. It should have given you some calm as it pertains to this whole situation, because I can tell y'all right now, it sounds to me like the deal is definitely going to get done at some point, and Dak Prescott kind of left a couple of nuggets in that particular snippet that should let fans know exactly the direction that those negotiations are going in. Let's get right into it as we dissect Dak Prescott's comments on his contract negotiations. But first, for those of y'all that really want to support the channel, y'all tell me all the time how much y'all love and enjoy the content and how much y'all love and enjoy the Dallas Cowboys. Well, why don't you support something that puts both of those things together and check out the official Dak Attack OG merch line on Bonfire. Whether it's a t-shirt, a hoodie, a sweatshirt, you can cop you some Dak Attack merch with the signature for a logo on it in cream, royal blue, black, white, a variety of different colors for affordable pricing. Be sure to check the link out in the pinned comment and description below. Help support your boy. Now let's get back to the video. Gotta pay the bills, y'all. Gotta pay the bills. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we went from not talking at all, both sides not really talking or speaking or having any dialogues, to now we just got confirmation that conversations are in fact being held as it pertains to Dak Prescott's contract negotiations. And oh, would you look at that, right in time for training camp to start. I suspect that we will see at least one of these deals done between Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb before training camp actually comes around, probably the week of training camp starting, or they're probably going to get done probably a week or two into training camp, early August at the latest. But like Dak Prescott said, he's not going to be worried about any of that stuff by the time training camp starts. And he also reiterated that he's letting his agents take care of the actual negotiation aspects as it pertains to any contract talks. All I'm gonna say is this: the fact that there are negotiations going on right now, that is a good sign. The fact that Dak Prescott said out of his own mouth he's going to let the money part take care of itself, because it always has, that to me is a far cry from the comments that he made at this last event, where he pretty much discussed the fact that he loves playing football, and regardless of where that is, he is going to continue loving to play football, right?
Your deal done by the start of the season?
Honestly, I'm focused on the moment, on the now. If the talks begin and real talks get to happen, sure, we can talk about getting that done. But in this case right now, honestly, I'm worried about just getting better, being better tomorrow than I am at this moment. So leaving that up to my agent and Jerry at this point. And when those talks begin, I'll be more involved, obviously. So.
In his other comments, as it pertains to his contract negotiations, they were a little bit more cryptic. His other comments almost gave the feel that he wasn't really exactly sure of the plan that the Joneses had, and he really didn't know exactly where their mind was at first as it pertains to his contract negotiations and why there hadn't been discussions. This time, we didn't hear any of that. We didn't hear any allusions to the fact that Jerry and Steven may not even be really having discussions with him, or we didn't hear a player that sounds like he feels disrespected in any type of way, or we didn't hear a player that sounds like he's unsure of what his future is going to hold, if that makes sense, right? He made very definitive comments here. Conversations are going on. After training camp starts, I'm not going to really be worried about that. I'm going to be locked in to what's going on with the team. So he was essentially letting people know that if the contract isn't done by training camp, don't ask him about it, because he ain't going to have nothing to say about it, because he's going to be locked into the actual season and what's going on the football field. And he said the money is going to take care of itself. It always has. I don't know, y'all. Maybe this is just my optimistic side listening to this clip or this snippet, but this for sure sounds like a guy to me that's secure in his position with this franchise, and that's secure in the direction of his contract negotiation. Again, I've said this from the start. The Cowboys would be absolute fools at this point in their progression as a team, as a roster building project. They would be absolute fools to let a prime all-pro quarterback that's still ascending. We probably still haven't seen the necessarily best iteration of Dak Prescott just yet, because I honestly feel like he can get better in certain areas. And I think that he knows he can get better in certain areas, so he's going to continue to improve every single season until his body doesn't allow him to. He's one of those cerebral players that as long as their body allows, they're just going to continue to get better at their craft. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. I'm not saying he's one of the GOATs. I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady as a quarterback, but I'm comparing him to Tom Brady as it pertains to the type of learner that he is, the type of progression that we've seen from Dak Prescott. Tom Brady got better and better and better and better the older he got, and the only thing that really slowed him down was a divorce with his long-term wife. Dak Prescott has gotten better and better and better and better the older that he's gotten, and his body is getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And now is just not the time for you to hit the reset button just because there's a section of fans in the Cowboys fan base that don't know how to swallow a loss, that don't know how to take an L, and so anytime something bad happens, they would rather blow everything up and see something brand new than to just add a couple pieces here and there, make a couple tweaks, and try it all over again. And I'm sorry, I just don't want the Cowboys to become the Cleveland Browns. I don't want the Cowboys to become the Buffalo Bills. I don't want the Cowboys to become any of these franchises that have done exactly what some Cowboys fans want this team to do right now, and that's blow the team up every 2 to 3 years that it doesn't actually do what the fans want them to do. And I think that's just absolutely ridiculous. The fact of the matter is the team is in a sweet spot. They're winning more than they ever have in their franchise since the 90s. The quarterback, the receiver, the best players on defense, including Bland, Diggs, Michael Parsons, all these people are all around the same age, and they're all peaking and going into their prime at the same time. Our quarterback is going to be here. I think that Jerry's pride, more than anything, wouldn't allow him to call it quits on this experiment, this mad scientist project he got going on, because we all know Jerry wants to be given the credit for building a championship roster. Do y'all honestly think that as fans, during a period of time where the Cowboys are actually consistently competitive for the first time ever, like I said, since the 90s, do y'all think that this is the time that Jerry's going to throw in his chips and admit that he was wrong, that admit that he made a wrong turn somewhere, admit that he needs to start over? See, a lot of you guys are forgetting so many different elements as it pertains to this whole situation. Forget the business aspect. Let's talk about the human aspect. There's no way that Jerry and his pride would allow him to blow this up when he's accumulated so many shiny pieces of the puzzle. I just don't think that that's going to happen, and I think that Jerry's going to ride this thing out. Dak Prescott's probably going to end up getting a 4-year contract extension or so, and they're going to ride this thing out with this generation of Cowboys. They're going to keep taking swings at this thing, as they should, because as long as you got a competitive team, you should keep taking swings at it. This is not the San Francisco 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo, where Jimmy Garoppolo was clearly a glaring weak point on that team. The Cowboys have an all-pro quarterback. This is not Alex Smith with Kansas City Chiefs before Patrick Mahomes took over. We don't have Patrick Mahomes on our bench. No, Trey Lance isn't Patrick Mahomes on the bench. And Dak Prescott is damn sure not Alex Smith. So everybody needs to pump the brakes a little bit. Understand that the Cowboys are in the same type of phase that the Pittsburgh Steelers, the San Diego Chargers, the New Orleans Saints, all these teams from years past that held on to quarterbacks for God knows how long because they're the best options available and they're still playing high-level football. The Chargers never won anything with Phillip Rivers. Ben Roethlisberger was with the Steelers for like another 10 years after winning his last championship. Drew Brees was with the Saints for a long time before he ever won an actual championship. We're in that Donovan McNabb era that the Philadelphia Eagles went through, where they wasn't winning championships, but their quarterback was good enough to remain competitive, and until his body started to fail him, they kept taking swings at it and just retooled and put pieces around him, guys. That is where you are as a franchise. Be okay with that. Be happy about that, because it could be much, much worse. Guess what? At minimum, you're going to have hopes of your team being in the playoffs and potentially being able to make some noise every season. As long as you have these key players in place, you cannot guarantee anything more than a shot, guys. There's no guarantees in the NFL. You can't just go out and plug and play a quarterback that's going to automatically make you win a Super Bowl. I know you're going to bring up Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams, but again, that was a situation where the Rams were literally one piece away. They needed a quarterback. Jared Goff was too young. He was too unseasoned. And he wasn't the guy for what Sean McVay was trying to do with that offense. So they upgraded. To our knowledge, Dak Prescott is able to do everything that he's being asked to do in this offense, and he's doing it at a high level. You let it ride. You let it ride, Cowboys fans. Either way, a real contract update on Dak Prescott's contract situation with the Dallas Cowboys. This, to me, honestly, is some good news, and this is music to my ears, and we speak same old Cowboys.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still the ball? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Hey! I'm still them boys.